Welcome back. So I'm going to be going over the 2025 NBA trade deadline, and I guess just like all the trades that have happened before that. So for the first trade, we have the Wizards receive Marcus Smart from the Grizzlies, Colby Jones from the Kings, Alex Len from the Kings, a 2025 first round pick from the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies receive two second round picks, Marvin Bagley III from the Wizards, Johnny Davis from the Wizards, and the Kings receive Jake LaRavia from the Grizzlies. So I mean, to start off here, I know that Marcus Smart hasn't been playing too good for the Grizzlies, and I don't even think that he was playing much at all, to be honest. Yeah, just 19 games. I wasn't sure if he was injured or not. 20 games last year as well. Taking a dip in points, averaging barely nine, barely four assists, 2.3 boards, 1.2 steals, zero point 0.3 blocks, 20 minutes per game. So yeah, definitely reduced minutes. 3-point shooting is below league average still. Hasn't really ever been a good 3-point shooter. Mainly known as a defender, but yeah, it just seems like the Grizzlies didn't really see him as part of their contender team, so they just wanted to ship him off to the Wizards. So the Wizards will probably just let him play for a little bit, do whatever he wants to do, and then shove him back out, like they have been doing recently, just to get some profit. So next trade, the Toronto Raptors receive Brandon Ingram, and they trade Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and some picks to the Pelicans. Main thing is not like pretty much nobody wanted Brandon Ingram just because I think he's making around 35 million a year right now, but he's gonna want more money than that, and nobody really wants to pay him that going into the future just because of the caps and whatever. I mean, he pretty much almost is an all-star, 22, 5-5. So maybe a little bit, yeah, I'd say those are pretty much all-star numbers. He's been shooting a lot better from three this year, taking a lot more threes as well. And then obviously everybody knows that he's a good mid-range player. So I think the Raptors are just doing this to get a second behind Scotty Barnes, which is good because he's a good offensive player. Not the best defense, but you kind of just have to use Scotty as the number one, but people are questioning if he can be a number one. He still hasn't averaged more than 20 points in a season. He's averaged 19, same as last year. Here's Kelly Olynyk. They just picked him up, I think, for pretty cheap last year. They just paid him to join their team. No, yeah, so he was in Utah. They got him for pretty cheap, just because he was playing bad. Took a little raise, and then now is playing pretty bad again this year. I mean, he's 33, pretty much out of the league. I mean, he was never a crazy good. He was just a good bench player, I guess. But yeah, and then Bruce Brown. I mean, everybody knows that he was good for Denver, and then now he's fallen off. 28 years old, averaging not even 5 points. Well, this year he's averaging 8, 4 and 1.5. So I guess he's just supposed to be a depth piece, but obviously I think the Raptors paid him a decent contract and now are just shipping him off and using him as a trade piece, obviously for Brandon Ingram. So yeah, I guess the Raptors just really need Scotty to step up, start averaging at least 24 points a game. That'd be nice. And then just working with Brandon Ingram, they do have RJ, who's already averaging 20 points, and then Quickly, who's averaging I think around 12 to 14. So yeah, they could be a good team. They just have to merge that in. So the first, let's see, Warriors get Jimmy Butler for shipping Andrew Wiggins, Kyle Anderson to the Heat. Josh Richardson goes to the Jazz from Miami. KJ Martin shipped out. Dennis Schroeder to the Pistons from the Jazz. From the Warriors, Raptors get PJ Tucker. So yeah, lots happening here. I don't think that this was a good trade for the Warriors. I mean, this is just kind of a facade. They're acting like they're going to be contenders, but this is kind of just wasting more of Steph's time. This doesn't really move the needle for them at all. Yeah, Jimmy obviously got suspended a lot this year. Hasn't been trying. He's been known to not been like trying much at all, except like when it was in the playoffs. The Warriors need to win games, and I don't know. I guess they're just relying on making it to the playoffs and then having like Steph and Jimmy. Even though Jimmy's 35 now, he got a massive contract extension from them, like 60 million for another 2 years after this next year. So I don't know. He definitely fleeced them. I think it's just wasting Steph's time. If I was Steph, I would probably leave after this trade because, like, I don't know. Wiggins to the Heat. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing pretty good this year. 17, 3 and 5, 4.5. I mean, last year we know that he had a little dip, but this is like his usual self now. So it seems like he's recovered a little bit from the drama that he had, which is pretty good. It's a lot for someone to go through. Slow-mo, he was pretty good for the Timberwolves. Now, just being like, I guess, like a depth piece, but yeah, he never really scored much points. It's more just being like a great defender. Not that he's not that right now, but I don't know. The Warriors in the beginning of the season were, I believe, 12-3. Obviously, they've dipped down to like 500 team now. Yeah, I don't know. He's 31. He could be helpful on a team, but yeah, not a big scorer, just more of like a defensive player. Dennis Schroeder averaging like 18 points on the Nets. A lot of people are saying, oh, he's going to be an all-star in the beginning of the season because he was averaging like 20-something. Or at least in most improved player talks. But yeah, obviously like dipping back down now, getting traded from Brooklyn to Golden State and only playing there. Wow, I thought he wasn't even there for that long. It was like 24 games, but it seemed a lot less than that, probably like 15. But yeah, so now going from Golden State to the Jazz to Detroit. So he is 31. I mean, that sucks for him and his family, but not that he's like on his way out of the league, but I don't know. It seems like he's just being like thrown around as like an older player, like a vet, I guess. And then Josh Richardson. I don't know. He was good for a few years, but obviously he's getting older now. PJ Tucker doesn't even play anymore, which kind of sucks because I know that he really wants to, but 38 years old, yeah. I don't think he's going to be getting any minutes. He's on his way out of the league. Next up, we have Cavs receive DeAndre Hunter from the Hawks. And the Hawks get Karis LeVert, George Niang, 3 second-round picks, and 2 pick swaps. So a lot of people are saying that the Cavs won this trade. I can kind of agree with that. This is like exactly what the Cavs needed, was just a good small forward player, just to kind of like branch defensively and offensively between like the two, because their centers weren't doing that great offensively. Not that they were bad. Like, I mean, Evan Mobley's averaging like 18 or 19 and Jarrett Allen's averaging like 12, but just kind of like meshing between them. Got a middle ground player averaging 18, 4 and 1. So yeah, I think they got him for a decent price. So he can help them like contend going into the playoffs as the first seed. So Mark Williams was traded from the Hornets to the Lakers for Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, a 2031 first unprotected, and a 2030 swap. So he hasn't really played much, and that was kind of why, just because of like he failed the physical. But I think that he is still a great fit with LaMelo, averaging 15, basically 10, and 2.5. I don't know, he's still young, 23 years old, and still hasn't just had like a whole lot of time in the league. I guess the Hornets are just worried that since he's already missed that much time that, you know, he could just get injured one more time, then boom, he's done. I don't know. I would still believe in Mark Williams. I like him as a player. So the Bucks trade for Kuzma, Jericho Sims, a 2025 second, 2026 second. The Wizards receives Chris Middleton, A.J. Johnson, and a 2028 first-round pick swap. The Knicks received DeLon Wright, draft rights to Hugo Benson, some cash, and then yeah, a bunch of nothing. But so Kuzma has been having a down year, obviously being like a 22 points per game, like all-star caliber player last year. This year just averaging 15, 6, and 5. So just taking a dip in scoring a little bit. Minutes were about the same as well, which is kind of weird. So I don't know why he's scoring so much worse. Whether that's from like 3, but also I believe it's 2 points down as well. And then Chris Middleton, also he's been injured recently. People saying that he's been playing good, but I just don't really see it. Especially when averaging like these like points. I mean, obviously his minutes are down. He was injured, so but this might be the end of him. He is 33. I know the Bucks are trying to get younger. 12, 4, and 4 basically. So this is hopefully what the Bucks are thinking going to be like a slight improvement for them. Not at 3, not in defense, but I don't know, just scoring wise in general, I guess, in the 2. Not necessarily what they need. I think that they really messed up by trading Drew and just getting rid of Mike Budenholzer ruined their team, but yeah. So Clippers get Bogdanovich. Hawks get Terrence Mann, Bones Highland, 20, 25, 26, 27 second-round picks. Bogdan having a little bit of a down year. Last year was playing really good, pretty much averaging 17, 3, and 3. This year averaging 10, 2, and 2. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure what's been happening. Obviously, a slight dip in minutes, but also a massive dip in his three-point shooting percentage. So I guess that the Clippers are thinking that they can just, I don't know, reactivate him as like what he was last year, which would be great because then I do think that they could possibly be like a top 4th seed. Bones Highland, this is Terrence Mann. For some reason, the Clippers wouldn't trade him to the Sixers, but I don't know. Hasn't really been like that good of a player. That was back in 2023. So I guess they had like a little bit more of a belief that he would like go into something, but he was like an older player. Now he's 28. Might just seem like a depth piece or whatever. Bones Highland, I thought he was on the Pelicans for like the longest time, but I guess he was just a young player on the Nuggets, and yeah, I guess that they're hoping that he can go back to what he was as the Nuggets player. Currently just averaging like 7, 1, and 1. This is just only on like 10 minutes per game, so not bad. But yeah, maybe he could be putting up like close to all-star numbers if he did have that like per 36. Obviously, that's different. Bucks get Kevin Porter Jr. from the Clippers from Marjon Beauchamp. This guy was like all-star caliber on the Houston Rockets. Then committed some domestic violence, I believe, and then now playing much worse. So nobody wanted to take a chance on him. Clippers did because they needed a lot of players. Now the Bucks are too. But he's only averaging like 9. Well, I guess his minutes are much lower too, but still averaging like 9 points, 3 and 3. Yeah, so I don't know. He could possibly be better. It's just kind of like one of those things that you need to take a chance on. He is 24 years old. But yep, so. Raptors get PJ Tucker. I guess that's a part of the other trade. Same thing with Pistons acquired Dennis Schroeder. Suns deal Nurkic to the Hornets. So I guess that they kind of did this to replace Mark Williams. Get a first-round pick for Cody Martin and Micic. I mean, I liked Nurkic on the Suns. I thought that he was a good player. Like 11 and 4, 11, like 11, 11, 4. That's pretty good. Had a decent dip this year. Just because of the different like play style, I guess, that the Bucks' old coach, Mark Budenholzer, or Mike Budenholzer, yeah, was like kind of putting him, wanted to play like Brook Lopez, but I guess that wasn't working out. For Cody Martin, I mean, I do think that I don't know, Nurkic and a pick for Cody Martin pretty much I mean, that seems pretty good to me. So I would say that the Hornets did win this trade. I'm kind of done with the Suns, not entirely just because they've been losing. Misic, 31, decent like bench player, but I really thought he was on the Warriors as well. I don't know, but um, yeah, I don't know. I think that the Suns won this trade. It's kind of done with the Suns just because they've been losing. Katie needs to leave. Book should stay, maybe. If they can just like get enough to help him, But Sixers just get rid of KJ Martin. He was just like a bench player. Nothing crazy. Probably not gonna miss him at all. I mean, he did have a good year back in Houston, but yeah, since he's been on the Clippers and then Philly, not playing too good. James Wiseman, I don't think that he's been playing. This was kind of just like for the Pacers to sign him, get a pick, and then yeah. Yes, it's just one game this year. It kind of sucks, but at least he's making YouTube videos now. Cody Zeller and a pick to the Hawks for the draft rights to Alpha Kappa. Cody Zeller, has he played? Nope. Okay. Sixers give up Reggie Jackson, which I'm sad about, and a first round pick for 4 seconds. I don't know. I kind of like Reggie Jackson, but I guess this is more just like a swapping of picks than actually players themselves. I doubt that the Wizards will really play Reggie at all. Yeah, averaging, like, he's on his way out of the league. He's 34, but I mean, it was cool just to see him on Denver, because I remember like a few games he just went off for like a crazy amount of points. Maybe it was 40 points, maybe something like that. Like, he went off, so that was really cool to see. Especially because he was on the Thunder back in the day when they made the finals. So, but yeah, I don't really think this is anything. Just pretty much trading of picks. Kings get Valanciunas from the Wizards for a bunch of random stuff. I don't know. I don't think this is what they need to do. What's 2 offensive centers that can't play defense? It doesn't really help them that much, but I guess if you just wanted like a backup to Sabonis that kind of plays like Sabonis a little bit, then this is what you can get. But yeah, I don't know. I think that the Kings kind of just need to reset. The team is built improperly and it's being coached improperly, so I don't think that helps them at all. Some more just minor trades here and there. Sixers get rid of Caleb Martin for Quentin Grimes and a second-round pick. I think that this is actually probably a slight adjustment for the Sixers. I know Caleb Martin was good. He was decent. He was just like a bench piece. I think he did start quite a few games for us, but I don't know, just averaging like 10, 4, and 2. I mean, it's pretty much what Quentin Grimes has been doing, right? No, he's been playing... yeah, okay, so pretty much the same. I think Quentin Grimes might just be like a little bit worse of a defender or something. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I don't know. Just seems like a slight trade for maybe just another second-round pick or something like that. I guess I just have to like look into it more. But... Oh, well, yeah, he also did play... I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of tough to tell right now. But yeah. Just pick trade. And then the Spurs acquire De'Aaron Fox from the Kings. Kings get Zach LaVine and a bunch of picks. Well, I think the Hornets pick isn't going to be anything. So 2 first-rounders, 3 second-rounders. And the Bulls get a first round from the Spurs that... it might hit on something. I don't know. Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, both of them haven't, and Trey Jones. So basically a backup point guard, shooter who can't shoot right now, and a backup center. So they didn't really get a whole lot for Zach LaVine, which is okay. Well, I mean, I know Bulls fans are mad, but De'Aaron Fox, I mean, this is the future of the Spurs. They maybe could have gotten De'Aaron Fox for free, but I guess they didn't want to risk that, and they were just like, okay, we'll just give you this garbage that we don't really need to secure him now. And I guess just keep forming that relation with Wemby, although Wemby did get injured, I guess, with the blood clot in his shoulder today. But yeah, so De'Aaron Fox can hopefully try to go for an all-star selection now if they are a better team. I do think that his numbers could possibly be a little bit worse, but we'll have to see about that. Zach LaVine playing for the Kings. They've wanted him for quite a bit of time now. I think even before he went on the Bulls, they were trying to get him, but the Bulls like matched or the contract or something like that, and then he went there. Yeah, so I mean, he's basically all-star caliber player. He was playing better than DeMar. I remember that from the West All-Stars video that I made. Yeah, still just no defense. I guess they're going to try to focus on that three-point shooting a little bit more, which might help them out a little bit. But yeah, we'll have to see where they go. I just think that the Kings should rebuild instead of just trying to be like a first-round exit team. Even if that. But Lakers received Luka for AD. I'm going to cover this. I already did make a video about this in the past. Going to like cover this topic again later. I do think that we'll have to wait a little bit to see who won, but I mean, Lakers got Luka for really cheap, so sorry, Mavs fans. Clippers trade Tucker to the Jazz. Suns receive some picks. The Suns get Nick Richards and a second-round pick. So the Suns acquire Nick Richards and a second-round pick for Josh Okogie and 3 second-round picks. I think this is probably profit for the Hornets. I mean, as a Hornets fan, I didn't really like Nick Richards a whole lot. Not that there was anything wrong with him, but I mean, I just would prefer Mark Williams. Averaging 8, 10, and nothing, pretty much. Oh, that was just that one game, but yeah, so 9, 8, and 1. I don't know, definitely kind of a different player, but they just needed like a different center switch up. Okogie just averaging 6, 3, and 1, basically. I don't know, I guess the Hornets just did it for the picks. Okogie was just kind of like a bench player that wasn't like that good of a bench player. And so, yeah, I guess the Suns are just going for a center. Next trade is the Lakers received Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. Nets received D'Lo, Maxwell Lewis, 3 future seconds. Okay. Dorian Finney-Smith was like a defender that the Lakers wanted. It seems like they just have like a lot of like these like low-tier defenders. Well, like not like low-tier like scorers that are defenders, which I don't think that's going to help him that much. Shake Milton, a Sixer. He was traded around a lot, but now he's landing here as a Laker. He hasn't been playing too well. And D'Lo, I think D'Lo received a lot more of the Lakers' hate than he probably deserved, but as a 20-year-old, averaging 13, he's having a down year. 13, 3 and 5. Yeah, I don't know. I think that D'Lo does have like all-star potential. At least he should be a starter. I mean, probably not any more all-star potential just because of the amount of hate that he's gotten. But yeah, I think he definitely is like a decent starter. I know that he is very inconsistent, but there's some games that he could be the reason that you win the game. So, Dennis Schroeder to the Warriors for DeAnthony Melton, some picks, another Sixers trade, and the Pacers get Thomas Bryant from the Heat. Melton averaging 10, 3 and 3 for the Warriors. Only played in 6 games. Wow, they gave him $12 million to play 6 games. That's kind of crazy. was a Sixer, but yeah, just got a decent pay. Good for him. Although I think the Sixers might miss him a little bit this year. Not that we need to be winning games or anything. And then Thomas Bryant, I think that the Heat were just kind of done with him, which is kind of unfortunate. He did have some potential, but yeah, just averaging 7, 4, and 1 in 15 minutes. So, I mean, he's a decent backup center. But yeah, that's going to be all for this video. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.